Hi, everybody. Hope you had a good weekend. Oh, we have some few people here already. Hello, hello. Jane, Mike, Kelly, Barbara, Mark, Leslie, Sally, Suzanne, Bella, and Ron. Welcome all. Hope you all had a good weekend. Quick sound check as usual. Just tell me it's all okay before we start. Hi, Rich, Barnaby. Hi. I'll give you a minute. We're number 40. Can you believe it? 40 lessons. Good. All okay. Thank you. Appreciate it. That's gone quick, hasn't it? 40. So, okay. Sound is okay. Sound okay. Good. So, there's a minute or so delay. While we're just waiting for another minute before we start the warm-up, I also want to do a Q&A on the 8 form if there's any questions you still have. You know, after 40 lessons, you can either say, oh, we know it now, we've had 40 lessons, or what can happen is in 40 lessons, you go deeper and then you get more questions. It's a bit like physics, you know, the deeper they go, the more questions they get rather than less. So it's fine. Questions are good. Thank you, Suzanne. Appreciate it. Happy 40th. Yeah. Hi, Esther. Nugget begins at 40. The more I do it, the more questions come. That's right. That's the way it is. You should see when I see my C4, it's like any questions, I go, this list comes out. I'm not saying you guys should do that. But you can if you want. Again, just waiting any particular questions on the 8 before I start so I can put it in the back of my head to steer the lesson that way if there's anything specific. If not, we'll have a couple of things to go over. We haven't done the stepping exercise for a while. I'd like to just go over the steps because I think that's really important, and the stances. And then we'll go over the 8 form. Would you guys like to do the torso stretch today? The core stretch. I think there's a divided opinion. Some people go, yeah, we love that. Some people's like, oh, that's horrible. But if you want to do the core stretch, we can do that. Shift, rotate, timing on cloud hands. Yeah, tricky one. Fine, we can do that. Just to give you guys sort of some idea, I'll typically work on a little thing like Barnaby Stang, still work on shift, rotate, timing on cloud hands. Yes, please, to core stretch. Oh, yes. Okay, cool. Thanks, Barbara. You know, shift, rotate, timing on cloud hands. And you may go, as beginners, you might go, still working on that. He was working on that 2 weeks ago, whatever. There's stuff I work on for like 2 years before I get it. So there's stuff that you just got to repeat. It's just the way it is. Working on the movement from step 1 to heel down. From T-step. Sorry, I misread that. T-step to heel down. And the problem is with what? In terms of opening the hip, turning the waist. We were speaking about that before, and then we were talking about how it kind of depends on which movement we're doing, right? I seem to remember going a little bit over that. We can do more detail if there's anything as a result of that. Sometimes, yes, the hip. Okay, yeah. Sometimes you ask a question and then I help it, and then you go a bit deeper, and then you get deeper questions come up. That's kind of normal. Hip, yeah. It's a general rule. This is the same for Kelly and Barnaby's question. As a general rule, is you don't want to be rotating as you're shifting your weight. Now that's not. If you take that literally, you end up moving like a robot, and that's wrong. But it's generally true. It's generally true. You don't want to be trying to do this at the same time. Yeah, you want to be shifting and then turning, right? Shifting and then turning. Generally. Okay, right. I guess it's time to start then. So we'll talk a little bit about on that. Still mechanical on it, doesn't flow. Just seen your one moves into the other. Foot landing. I tend to land on ball of foot. Okay. Yeah, I'm thinking of the question about one moves into the other. An analogy I often use for the Fa Jing, I don't know if I've said that in the Nugget, but certainly when I'm teaching my classes, I use this analogy a lot of a ketchup bottle. And you have ketchup and you want to get it out the bottle. and you brake, you stop, and the ketchup comes out, right? So when you stop, and it's the same when we're doing the arm swings and the warm up. So what tends to happen when you see like a shift rotate, for example, is that the foot is like the brake. The foot is the brake, and the ketchup continues. So what happens is that the force, the kinetic energy just simply changes direction. And that's usually how we go from one to the other, shift, rotate, or rotate, shift. Yeah. Hip, weight shift to rotate. Just going back to make sure I'm clear on your question. One moves in the other, weight shift to rotate, yeah. So, so think about that. And another analogy, okay, is the wave crashing on the rocks. So you have all this energy in the water, and it hits the rocks. It's got to go somewhere. So it goes up. Now, if you think of cloud hands, it stops because the foot breaks. That energy's got to go somewhere. So it keeps flowing. So the continuity, if you want to help with that continuity, Barnaby, one of the idea is that you don't stop the energy, right? So if you stop one part, the energy continues. And that way you'll start to get that circularity. Circle after break would help. Pointing out circle after break would help. Okay. The break is when the weight shifts. So look at it this way. If I don't brake, I do that. I'm going to lose my balance, right? If I do part horse's mane, I don't brake, I do that. So I have to stop, so I don't do this. When I stop, the hand continues because the kinetic energy is still going. So with the cloud hand, again, if I don't brake, this is going to happen. So I brake, this happens. This is simply the continuation of the energy that's pushing into the ground, which is causing the transfer. Here's the brake, here's the continuity of the movement. So that's something you can think about when you're practicing your set today. Right. I think I've yacked enough. I think it's time to do some work. Let's do quick loosen off and then we'll do some stretching. While I do that, if anyone has any questions, you can type them in while we're doing the stretching and then I'll answer them after the stretch. So loosen off first. The elbows. Shoulders. And then some bouncing. Ball of the foot. Okay, this one. Okay, we're going to combine this with a weight shift to kind of give you the idea of what I was just talking about. So look, watch this. As I shift my weight onto this leg, and then I rotate. So I shift the weight, and the brake will cause the hands to fly. So in martial art, I'm moving out of the way, boom, there's my punch, because the rotational force creates a whipping energy. Does that make sense? So you can feel it yourself. When you stop with the foot, the hand should whip around. And the movement of the hand continues after the foot breaks the movement. Do you feel this? Shift, rotate, shift, rotate. So when you break, break. So this is going the other way to cloud hands, but it's exactly the same principle. Martial arts, someone pushes you, you move, boom, you hit. Boom. Okay. Forwards and backwards. Same idea again. Ketchup out the ketchup bottle. Change sides. Okay. Seeing if there's any questions coming up. Has the wave and the rock. Nice one. Okay, yeah. Right, let's do an exercise from here. This is good for T-spine rotation and also your wrists. We'll do this one before we do the torso stretch, okay? Just a couple of things before we start. So you start with the hands, and we're going to make fists like this. I'm going to have them palm up by your side. So I'm going to open your hand. You can mirror me, and you're going to turn. And as you turn, you're going to rotate your wrist so your palm faces down and your fingers face the wall behind me. So as I do that, I'm working the rotation of my upper spine, my T-spine here. From there, I bring my palm towards me. It's a bit like I'm going to hit myself, face palm myself. And it goes over the top. And I massage the points on the base of the skull. From here, I push my palm out to the side. And I'm going to drop the hand, make a fist, and return it to the waist. Right? So look, open, you rotate and you push. So the more you twist, the better. This is not Tai Chi, this is Daoyin. So it's a stretch, more like yoga. Right? In Tai Chi, we never twist this much. Twist, 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 and we're looking towards where the hand's going. Face palm. Massage. Push. And when you push, you're pulling your fingers back strongly. So it looks kind of like Kung Fu pose, right? Drop the hand and then return it as a fist. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3, looking at the hand, 4, looking at the front. 1, looking to the side. 2, face palm. 3, looking to the other side. 4, drop the hand, bring it as a fist. Now, breathing. In, out, in, out. Other side, open. In, out, in, out. So you're using some strength in these movements. When you're pushing, you really feel like you're pushing something. Okay, and pull the wrist and bend the wrist. So we're going to do that 4 times to each side, okay? And then I'll look at Una's question in a second. Okay, so 4 times to each side. I'm going to mirror you, so feet together. Left hand first. In breath. Out. In breath. Out. In. Out. In. Out. In. Out. In. Out. Twisting more now. Putting those fingers up. In, out, in, out. I've lost track, but I think we'll do one more on each side. In, out, breathe in, breathe out. Make a fist, bring it back, breathe in. Face palm, breathe out. Fingers up, in, out. Make a fist, bring it back. Squeeze the shoulder blades together, open the chest. Okay, so that's a nice little exercise. We'll do the torso stretch. Generally, weight change happens before rotation. In brush knee, push part, wild horses mane, the weight change happens at the same time as the rotation on the back foot. Right, I'm going to explain that. Because it's not quite, I think you've just not quite got that idea, or maybe I didn't explain it very well. Okay, torso stretch. Hands to the abdomen. Okay. Upward press first. Looking forwards, straighten the elbows, squeezing the elbows together, palms face the ceiling. Can't see my hands, I don't think. Oh, there you go. Lean to your side. And back. Press up first, then lean to the other side. And rotate. Press and rotate, same time. Pushing upwards with the palms, down with the heels. Keep the head neutral. Back. So you're turning your head, you're not tilting it. Middle. This one, lift your chin up. This one, you're leaning back. And then forwards. As you breathe out, drop deeper and stretch. Turn to one side. And the other way. And back to the middle. Then we do a squat down, so bend your knees. With the next one, you straighten the knees only as far as you can without lifting the hands off the floor. So bend your knees so your hands are on the floor. And it doesn't matter if you can't get them straight, just go as straight as you can. Now, separate your hands, straighten your knees now, grab the backs of your legs, and stretch the head down towards the shins. Bend the knees to come up very gently, very slowly. Take your time. Don't want to get dizzy. Bring the hands up. Breathe in. Push the hands down, breathe out. Do 3 breaths. Okay. Finishing off for a minute. Close your eyes gently if you want to. This one. Okay, and shake it up. There you go. Torso stretch and the rotation exercise from the Dalian joint sequence. Let me know how you got on with those ones. Okay, Una. So it's generally weight change happens before rotation, but in brush knee push and part wild horse's mane, the weight foot happens at the same time as the rotation on the back foot. I'm trying to think how to answer that as clearly as I can. Because no, it doesn't, but I'm trying to explain why it doesn't. It is not this. It is not, I'm trying to turn the foot as I'm shifting my weight. That's no good. The weight shifts before the rotation. So when the knee comes here, and the energy is like, again, the wave crashing continues. See that? So when this stops, this continues. Do not do this. Don't try to do this as you come forwards. It's unstable. It's not good technique. So it's the same thing for both techniques. Part wild horse's mane. The rotation is at the end. Brush knee push, same thing. The rotation is here. Do not rotate here. Not correct. I think if I understood your question right, anyway, that's my answer. Do you want to get your mass in movement? Good, I was struggling with that. It makes more sense now that Mike moves first. Yeah. I often think of like the extreme example, something like a shot putter. And the shot putter, you know, in the Olympics, has a weight. And this is an exaggeration. You can't do this in martial art or Tai Chi. But imagine, they're going to throw the weight here. They're going to throw the weight, shoom, and then they're going to rotate. There's no way they're going to try and do this. It's going to drive from this foot, drives. As the foot comes to here, then there's the rotation because the energy is transferring from the ground up, 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 still rotates, and then comes through. For Tai Chi, we want to stay on the ground. We don't want to come up. But it's the same concept. It's coming from here. See that? If I'm trying to turn my foot here, it's no good. No good. Any other questions? You probably do that naturally. If you just think about throwing a stone or something, it's how you do it. Anything else? I like that. I am as the wave and the rock. In the Taoism, they say that the water is the softest substance, but it can wear down the hardest rock. So that's why in Tai Chi, we endeavor to be soft. So that's what I always say to all the other martial artists. So come and have a go if you think you're soft enough. And Lao Tzu also says, the tongue is soft and it lasts a lifetime. The teeth are hard, they break easily. Nothing else? So we'll go through our 8 form then. I was going to do some stepping, so going to do our stepping exercise. Let's do it with, we'll do it with brush knee push. Do it with brush knee push. And we'll do it with, we're going to do 3 steps turn, 3 steps, turn, 3 steps, turn, 3 steps, turn. Okay? We'll do that for 5 minutes. And what you're going to concentrate on is shift, rotate, and you're also going to concentrate on keeping on the same level. There's places, particularly when people turn or sit back and rotate, that the head goes up. And you're just going to try and keep on one level. Now, if you can't manage that, you need to come up a little bit. If it's super, super easy, you need to go down a little bit. You should be feeling the legs and the core having to work to maintain the same level. So you find, it's just like lifting weights. You know, you can adjust on those machines, you can adjust how hard it is. And if you can't feel anything, you're probably not doing anything. And if you can't make the thing move, it's too heavy. You'll find that point where it's just, okay, it's challenging, but it's doable. And that's the height for you. Challenging, a little, somewhat challenging. 5 minutes, guys. 5 minutes of brush knee push. One level and continuous motion, continuity of flow. Every movement, finish, the next one starts without stop, start, clunk, like flowing water, okay, for 5 minutes. I'll start this way, you can mirror me. Do your commencing form, same as in the 8 form. But we'll forego repulse monkey, we'll go straight to brush knee push. Okay, here you stay on one level, you do not come up. Turn your head. Now you turn like the 8 form. Make sure your shoulders are down and soft. Don't put any strength in your arms at all. Just imagine the arms is a conduit for the energy which is coming up from the legs. So the upper body very soft. But the step is firm. Check for any tension in your face as well. Clenching your teeth or any effort, any sense of effort in your face. Let it go. Smile. Just come back to where we started. So 3 more. If you want, you can toe in, bring the hands in front, step, finish where you started. Okay, so little 5 minutes of stepping, exercising our ankles, our knees, our hips. I wonder if that helped with your sense of the timing and the weight shift and the rotation. Any insights or questions? So something I was saying about when we were doing that, and I don't know how well you could hear the audio from the back, but I was saying about, the face, because a lot of people try really hard. And so you just don't, you just relax, you just smile. If any of you guys ever listen to, yeah, good, thank you. Any of you guys listen to any Alan Watts? I used to read Alan Watts when I was a teenager, and now you can actually hear him on YouTube, which is wonderful because he's got a great voice. I recommend you guys listen to Alan Watts. And he always talks about this effort, what in the Taoism they call wu wei, which just means like means non-action, literally means non-action, means letting things happen in the natural order of things. So the analogy he gives is like when you say to someone, now listen carefully, and they'll do this, as if magically, like muscular tension in the face will actually improve the hearing. Or they say, watch closely, and then they'll screw up the eyes. And so what's happening is we have a self-concept. And if you look in the Buddhist philosophy, they say that's empty, that's not real, that's an illusion. What we think is us. So we're creating this self, and then we're like really trying to push hard on this effort thing. And of course, the irony of it is that the more you let go of that and just let the thing happen, the better it becomes. So there's like in a really good athletes and sportsmen, they call it the flow state, where the thing just seems to happen by itself. And so it's not so much that trying is the problem, because if you want to be good at Tai Chi, you have to make an effort. I mean, you have to practice regularly, and there's some degree of discipline. Okay, so it's not so much that effort is wrong, but it's making an effort to make an effort that's the problem. You ever hear like if you leave the camera and the microphone and the speaker, and it creates a feedback loop, and it goes nee, and it's horrible, right? And it's because it's feeding off itself, it becomes like a positive feedback loop. And it's the same thing with an effort to an effort. And then you have to make an effort for an effort for an effort and effort. And the whole thing becomes snarled, it becomes locked up. It's self-paralysis, what they call paralysis by analysis, right? So when you practice your Tai Chi, that's why we start with the meditation, with just that moment of mindfulness. Just calm the mind, relax first. And then you want to get the feeling the movements are just kind of happening by themselves. So there's effort in the sense that when you bend your knees, it's harder work, but don't try to try. Don't say, I'm going to try really hard this week, or I'm going to do my best, or something like that. It doesn't help. It does not help. On the contrary, it's like riding your bicycle. putting your hands on the brakes as if you're trying harder, like you let go. Okay, so when you do Tai Chi, that's what you want to be concentrating, releasing tension. Releasing tension. Right, still working on balance on step, forward step with toe on front foot. I don't understand. Step through on forward step with the toe out. So if I understand you correctly, okay, if I step here, this is one thing. What we're doing here is, so this turns. What I'm not trying to do is turn my toe out. Like, I'm not externally rotating my hip so much as rotating from my center. Do you see this? So the whole thing is facing this way. It's not this is here and my toe is doing that. No, the whole thing turns. Now look where my hips are facing. So when I shift, now my hips are facing like this. So when I take my step, my hips are facing here. Now look, now my hips are back to the front again. So that's the sense of it. And the balance part is that you're completely 100% on this leg. Now I'm completely 100% on this leg. So all this is like empty. I shift, turn. Okay? That's the balance. Right, to finish today, you were missing the hip rotation. Oh, right. That will make a huge difference, Barnaby. Awesome. Because that's going to make a huge difference to you, because not only is the hip rotation going to get the balance, again, given the analogy of a shot put or a tennis serve, you're not going to get any power like this. You have to be here. So you've got your rotation, right? So you need to be here if you're throwing something, so that you have the potential, the stored energy to release. If you don't store it, you can't release it. So any kind of energy release, there has to be store, release, potential energy, kinetic energy. And if you don't store it, you can't release it. Like the same, if I told you to throw a stone as far as you can, if you don't pull it back, you won't store any energy. Natural rotation into the, yeah, good. Exactly. That's why I do the selfie thing. Because for fighting, you don't, well, it depends on the usage. There are certain things. There's a concept you may have learned if you've done grappling or wrestling, where you look where you want your opponent to fall. So if you're using this movement as a throw underneath someone's arm, you will look back and they will fall that way. If you do it looking forwards, it doesn't work. Once you look back, you bring everything into alignment. So that's one of the reasons. Right, let's finish today, because I'm running on a bit. It's 40 minutes. So we'll finish with one time through the entire 8 form. Okay, that will be our finish today, okay? I don't think I've ever done these were supposed to be 30-minute nuggets, but I'm not very good at that. They're usually 45 to 50, I think. Okay. Mirror. Commencing form. The tossing monkey. Brush knee and push. Parting wild horses man. wave your hands like clouds. Golden rooster stance on one leg. Kick with the heels. Grasp the bird's tail. Wood off. Roll back. Press. Push. Wood off. Roll back. Press. Push. Cross hands. Closing form. Right. Too much good stuff for 30 minutes. Yeah, agreed. It's agreed. Too much. And we're just scratching the surface. Okay, so that's it for today. I'm going to tell you guys today, or I'll remind hopefully, Wednesday will be the Zoom session. And if you want to join in that, I'll post the link. It will be on the normal, where you'd normally find this video, there'll be a link to the Zoom session. This Friday, there will not be a nugget because I have to teach a Zoom session for my academy students. So this Friday, sorry guys, no nugget. Monday, Tuesday, normal, today normal, tomorrow normal, Wednesday Zoom, Thursday normal. Okay, so you're very welcome. And I will see you guys same time, same back channel tomorrow. And then if I forget to say tomorrow, because last week I totally forgot. And then someone said to me, is it Zoom tomorrow? And I was like, oh, I didn't tell everyone. So it's Zoom on Wednesday, okay? Thank you very much. So you're welcome. See you guys soon. Normal on YouTube tomorrow, Zoom on Wednesday. Thank you. Thanks, everyone.